Uncensored Tuesday night, January 21st, 2025, the second day of President Trump's second term. Chuck Cook is with us. Jen Woodruff may be dropping by. Jerry Michaels may drop by. Michael Anthony may drop by. Randy Rose may drop by. And our internet may drop throughout the broadcast too. If it does and I can't reconnect, then the broadcast will just end. I apologize for that. We're having heavy rains here in Florida at 39 degrees. Not as bad as Chucky up in chilly Wisconsin with -2 degrees right now. We are live on my... Oh, go ahead,
the wind chill is probably about 20 below right now, I'm thinking. It's not very windy, but it doesn't take much.
That is very cold. Well, we're live on my profile on Facebook if you want to watch it there. We're live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel if you want to watch it there. Both have live chats. Good evening. William Grant is watching. Jane O'Malley is watching. I want to thank Jane for checking in with me to make sure we were going to be on tonight. I don't have a cold.
Hi, William and Jane.
Today I feel pretty good. And let's see. With us down in the bottom square, that I'm going to move up to the top square. And Jerry Michaels from the American Rebellion is with us. And it's really tonight a continuation of talk of President Trump's second day, whatever happened or what we think might happen. I'm going to steal a question from Jerry that I'm going to ask at some point in the broadcast. If we lose my internet and I can't reconnect, then we'll just end it. Or if I get back in, we'll see if we can do it. I'm not going to worry about it either way right now. But Jane O'Malley says that she has -2 wind chill, -15 and falling where she is. William Grant says good evening to me, Chuck, and Jerry. And
Jane,
Jerry Michaels, what is new and exciting? Go ahead, Chuck.
Jane is about 40 miles away from me, so 15 degrees and falling, so I may be a little bit north of her, but not much.
Okay. And how are you, Mr. Michaels?
Oh, peachy, Dave. You know, it's 40 degrees or probably about 38 now. Feels like -647. Fuck me. You know, there you go.
Yeah. Is it raining down where you are?
Not yet. It's supposed to have started actually right about now. So anytime.
Yeah, it's raining up here.
Yeah.
It's raining up here, so unfortunately, I guess that means it's going to work its way down to you. Usually when it's raining down where you are, it will soon be raining up
Did
here.
you get snow on your side?
Did we get any snow up here?
We're going to tonight.
We're going to get it tonight.
Oh, because they got like 7 inches over there in Tallahassee. So, you know, make sure you got plenty of beer, I guess. I don't know.
We're supposed to get ice on the roads up here tonight into tomorrow, and I think school has been canceled over in Clay County. I don't know what Duval County already canceled too, so there's a no school day up here. If you have to drive tomorrow and the roads are icy, just be careful.
Well,
take things a little bit
Dave, I didn't tell you about this in Florida, so let me tell you. On off school days, you can run the children over if they're out. You can do that. It's a thing. Yeah. It's a contest. At the end of the year, whoever gets the most wins $5. So you got that.
Wins $5.
$5.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I don't think it's going to snow here, but it's going to freeze again, and I'm going to wake up. It's going to be 12 degrees. I don't know if there'll be ice or not, but I got to take the wife to the doctor in Gainesville tomorrow, so we will find out quickly. And I'll guarantee you, very quickly, because I will not be driving my truck, which, by the way, started today, so I'm good. I just got to figure out where the fuel leak is, because I think there's an O-ring bad with the fuel rail and going into the injectors, but I can't really drive it. So I'm taking my neighbor's truck, so we'll probably total that, and then I'll cry. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Is the O-ring part or whatever you said, is that a major thing to get to?
Yeah.
It's like taking half
Kind
the
of like
engine
what I
apart,
just
trying to
did, but
get
only
to
half of it, and I don't even have to take anything off. Really, just holy crap!
Wow.
Well, there you go. That's an old man grunt.
Man, what's going on, people?
Oh, Jerry was telling us about having to take the this bone connected to that bone out of his engine to get in to put something in there, and
You're still fucking with that oil filter.
I'm just glad I don't. I'm still glad that it's not me
Well, when I
having to do
took the
it.
fuel rail off last time, it spilled gas. That's what happens. And it could be just pulled up, and when the engine heated up, it could be just burning off. Also, hopefully without fire. So it could be just that. So tomorrow when we get home, I'm going to start the engine and sit there. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a water hose or a fire extinguisher or something, and let it run for a while. See how that goes. Anyway, let's move on.
All right, moving.
Yeah. Mr. Michael, what is new with you?
Man, oh man, the lawsuits are flying everywhere. We got it's all kind of shit going on. We got impeached Trump already starting already over. We got little unified glitches of parties because we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. That was the Carmela's message to America. Start with the harassment on day one. And they are. And then Trump goes to church this morning. And I don't know if anybody caught wind of what that pastor was saying to Trump basically directly. It wasn't done with where this whole shit show's going, according to her. But, you'll have that. And this is why we need to keep politics out of the church. That's why I stood up and walked out on them. Insightful, premeditated disgraces that they are, but they did it. And they put them there. Even Vance, the look that Vance gave over towards Trump, but Trump wasn't looking. He was just ingesting all this shit that was coming from her mouth. They don't realize that he's a public servant and that he has to address law and move through case law to get things done because America has a problem. But there's a lot of people out there that don't see it that way. I tried to send and share to everybody that video, and it's on my page. And I got to tell you, it pissed me off when I saw it because all I saw was, in my mind, was set up. And then now you got all this other bullshit starting to vibrate again. It's going to be like day one of his last inauguration, and that's what it's coming to be. So we're going to have to roll up our sleeves, man. We got to fight back, and give ourselves to Trump to support, everything about America and the direction that we wanted it to be in. He's only delivering what he promised. So who's at fault here? Us, because we're utilizing him as a vessel. So that's just part of what's going on. But it's going to be big. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be dirty.
Yep. Did you start to say something, Jerry, or was it the rolling machine going?
No, the look on J.D. Vance's face and him looking at his wife and her trying so hard not to look back at him was hilarious.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance was pissed.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, look, this is not the way. Well, this is the way things are now, of course, because I wonder in my mind, is this the same church that when Trump left the White House and walked over to the church many years ago and stood in front of it with AJ Barr and Millie and all them, and then Trump returned, and they at that point already were not on his team. Then in the music industry, you got that Snoop Doggy Dogg. Everybody knows who Snoop the Dickity Dog is, threatening all the jigaboos in the world. If you perform for Trump, you're going to deal with me. Does everybody in the world know that this asshole is the uncle to P. Diddy? Because if you don't, I'm telling you, he is. He's his uncle. So this is part of the other disgrace. Now, we have people that have been nominated in Hollywood to help out, Sylvester Stallone and people like that. Now we need to hit the music industry.
Yeah. Hit him with something. Bring back Elvis. We need to know that we need to know that Pastor Bob really is Elvis.
Could be his twin brother.
Once and
Could be his twin brother.
Actually, I heard a really interesting, and I don't know if it's a theory. We all know that Elvis had a twin brother who died at birth. But now there's rumors going around that this Elvis is in fact the twin brother and not the actual Elvis.
Yeah.
And I don't know what
Elvis
to
is
There's
dead, guys. Can we just let him rest?
Going around.
Poor guy. Every time I turn around,
I'm
he's
sure
working in fucking Peoria, Illinois, freaking 7-Eleven. Leave the guy alone.
Hey, I've been in Peoria. It's a nice town.
Yeah.
You see Elvis in 7-Eleven? Okay. No, he didn't.
No, I didn't.
No. Randy Rhodes, what do you think? Welcome to the broadcast.
About Elvis.
Well, about
Elvis is dead. It's not an open topic.
All right, Elvis is dead. We've moved on. That conversation died pretty quick.
Okay. Well, then it's dead. I saw the minister that's supposed to be him, and I want to tell you what. I saw his musical abilities. I saw him playing the piano and singing this one song. I want to tell you what. He had Elvis's technique. He had Elvis's voice. I tell you what, who knows? I mean, he's supposedly he's wearing a ring that belonged to Elvis.
Oh God, help me.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'll just shut up. I don't know why I joined you guys.
No, I didn't. It wasn't. It would come in. We had decided to move on from the Elvis.
Okay,
so it was my fault.
You asked me
my
the
fault
question.
to not let you know, and I did ask you the question. If for any reason my internet kicks off tonight, this is either going to end, and if I can't get back in, then anyone else is welcome to pick up the slack and continue if they want. But Jerry, you said you have a question.
Yeah, Michael. Why didn't Trump put his hand on the Bible?
Well, it's speculation, and a lot of people can say that. I mean, as far as how it goes, it's because he raised his right hand to take the oath, but he didn't swear the allegiance to the deep state.
Yeah, I'm hearing that the corporation is over. Is that true? And that's why he didn't do it.
Look, I've seen that out there. I have no knowledge of that. Nobody that I know has made any type of comment to that being factual. But I do see that there is a different reference of frame here. And for some reason, maybe if the battle goes wrong, the one who swore the allegiance will then step into the presidential position, which would then be Vance, if something comes under scrutiny, because he did it properly, accordingly. Not properly, but accordingly, as to be what was being practiced. So that's what I got. I really don't know anything that I can confirm that. I'm like into this vibe. Like, give me the info, give me the dirt. And I did write a couple notes, but no return responses.
All right. No, because that's just, I heard that from about 5 people today on X. And that would be nice, but you got to be very careful of who you're listening to, too, on what's what. I hear people on there telling me damn near everybody in the government's already dead, and we're just Obama's in Gitmo. I don't know.
Well, that is one thing I can confirm.
Hendridge or whatever her name is from the Fox News woman. She's down at Gitmo, and that's supposed to be some big signal that everybody's going to prison.
Yes. Yeah, they're down there ready for something. They were asked to go there to be there, but they are not allowed to go to a lot of areas. They are restricted. I definitely know that fact has happened. That is true.
So. She said so. The video I saw, she said she couldn't go to certain spots or whatever.
Oh, she actually made a video?
Yeah, it was on the ship going over whatever body of water that is. It was like it's like B-roll kind of thing where she was talking about going over there, and she wasn't only allowed in certain places, which makes sense. I mean, Gitmo is kind of a well-known big secret over there, and they don't want people anywhere near the terrorists for whatever reason, and whoever else is in there.
Right.
From what I hear, it's Nancy Pelosi's in there, Hillary Clinton's in there. So I'm just wondering who all these fucking people were that showed up yesterday.
I think it's about to be a transport of people, that, from what my understanding would be. But see, here's the thing: you have people out there that've been really strong, built themselves a name under military tribunal laws, and how the military works outside of the laws of the government, and they are different. There is a big indifference to them. So you got guys out there doing it where nothing ever happened. The key component was you can't have something happen when you have no control of a military. So they had to wait for a commander in chief to become the authority for anything to work, and for them to make change in the military to proceed with. So it's not that they were wrong, but they were way wrong. So I think that's what we are about to see. Now, is it going to be any of those popular names and faces? I don't know, but I think that an example will start to be set. And then maybe by doing that, the worry of fear will come on, because the fear of God has been put into them, that they could possibly go there and never see the light of day again. And they're going to give up a lot more information. So to me, it's a squeeze play.
Yeah.
And I think if we put Dave on that boat and send him there, we'll get a squeeze play there too.
Yeah.
The video I saw, the video I saw about a year ago, at the end of it said that Hillary Clinton had been executed, Nancy Pelosi had been executed, but Paul was there for life. I don't remember who else, and it's hard to believe because
I've been hearing Nancy Pelosi has been executed for 4 years now. It gets to a point where I don't know if I believe any of it, but so much shit has come true. You have to listen to it, and you got to try to figure out what's true and what isn't. So that's why I was asking.
Well, I was listening to a show. I can't verify this, but I can verify what I listened to. There was talk in California about the physician who did the hip surgery on her, and they were making a joke about it. And this came from the anesthesiologist's department, who was assisting to the anesthesiologist, that it looked like a real human being, and they could identify her by record, by name, and by look, that it was her on the table. So the table doesn't mean that she was on the table dead, awaiting her surgery. Because they were worried about her teeth. And when it comes to anesthesiology and teeth, there's a complication there, and they get worried. So anyway, I guess she needs some dental work done, and that was they were concerned about how they, proceeded with her. But from what I understand, that got done too. So that was just people bullshitting on the podcast that had a guest who may claim that his wife was part of the team of the anesthesiologist, because this was kind of part of the narrative of the show. Where are these people? Is it really them? Et cetera, et cetera. But we do know she's MIA. Is it because she's recovering right now due to this surgery? The fact that she didn't want to be there for Trump, well, who cares? We don't need her anyway. But that's what I got on that part.
All right, I do have to interrupt for a second. The secret bell rang, and Nikki's not here, so Chucky may have to do it himself.
Hi,
Incoming
guys.
and joining us, Jen, the whole always a pleasure
good to see you.
to have you here.
You guys are funny, whatever.
And the Jen Woodruff website that she set up to sell Boogie with the Bull cups, Boogie with the Bull white ceramic coffee mugs, actually sold out. We sold every cup that we had.
Yeah, I think there was one, and you got it. And it's
There were only two.
Oh, you okay? Good.
Yeah, there were only 2, but we sold out.
Awesome.
So
that's great.
Congratulations.
I'm proud of you. You bought it.
I'm just wondering.
What is up?
I was just wondering, we have representatives in the House that have no business being there, and McConnell wasn't there yesterday. And it ain't because of anything other than the fact that he's brain dead or something, But then we had Joe in there, so maybe that's normal. But these people need to go. No way McConnell should be lasting another 2 years.
No way.
And Les says they're saying Obama's having an affair with Jennifer Aniston, but all the affair rumors started when Big Mike announced that he wasn't going to the inauguration. So I don't know. I don't know what's
pretty clear tonight. Actually, from your internet, you look pretty clear tonight.
Good.
That's a little fuzzy. It's probably from all the pot she smokes, but she'll be fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Nobody could smile that much without not being high.
Yeah, there you go.
I want Jesus, Jen to know.
Come on. I'll roll one for you right now.
Whatever. Anyways, good to see you guys.
Know that we subscribe to the thumb drive service that Jesse's putting together. All the times before your camera goes on and what happens when your camera goes off, because I want to prove to everybody that you're just as sweet off camera as you are when you are on camera.
You're so kind.
How's she going to do that when she's a raging alcoholic? I don't understand.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe that's why she's so polite all the time.
Well, maybe, yeah, okay.
You people are wonderful. Anyhow, back to the inauguration. What is up with Elon Musk? I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Did he really do the Heil Hitler? With his
Jesus.
Was it
just rolling around? He did a bunch of shit that day. I watched that video. He's guilty of doing stuff. Was the subject matter that, or was it just something that occurred? It's hard to say.
You know what?
The stuff that he did before that happened.
Yeah, I saw photos of 5 other important politicians doing the exact same thing like that. Yeah, it's not the high heel.
What is it? Yeah. What is it he has? What is that spectrum thing?
He has money.
I said money. That's something we don't. Yeah.
He has a couple of $100
billion. Like what's the spectrum thing he's got?
He has Tesla. He has
no. Is he
autistic? I believe he is.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He's not a regular guy. He's not good in public as far as speaking. A lot of things, and I think it was just here's my heart, whatever bullshit. And quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Anything the left says, I just disbelieve immediately and move on with my life, because the people saying it are out of their freaking minds.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of out of your freaking mind comments being made right now.
So Elon Musk has publicly stated that he has Asperger's syndrome.
Oh, that's the one. Yes.
Asperger.
Yeah.
I think that's part of that.
You can be an absolute genius and have that. Just your social skills.
My wife has a grandson that has the Asperger's.
Asperger.
I got to tell you, the guy who invented that word really should have looked at it a few times and maybe thought of a different one. I don't know.
Well, I wonder if it's his name. It's not ASS. It's ASBERGER. I believe. I believe it's the person's name who discovered it. I'd have to look
that guy should have
verified that.
I got an ass. I love burgers.
Well, my wife Donna, who knows enough about it, said that it is the person's. It is his last name. I assume it's a he, but it is his last name.
Yep.
So Yeah, and I'm sure as a kid he probably got teased about that.
I will be the first one to admit I do not trust him completely, but we're gonna. I'm you know, it's like I think Michael said last night. We see each day,
Right.
each day, see where we're going.
Yep.
He just strikes me as a smart guy a brilliant guy who's had every conversation you can think of, so that when you're standing there having a conversation with him, in 2 words and a hand gesture, he's had the entire conversation with you, and may not know how to, like we want to sit around and have a beer and laugh and joke around. He may not have that social ability, and it's sad because I mean he's what he wants to do with Dodge. I think it's a great thing. You're the number one individual taxpayer in the United States of America wants to help taxpayers in the United States of America save a boatload of money.
So Asperger comes from Johann Friedrich Karl Asperger. He's the first one to diagnose it and make use of the name.
It's like a star. They name something after whoever the discovery's made by. That becomes part of their name.
Joe, he's got Joe, and everybody would have been fine with that. But Asperger's is not good.
Well, no, I'm okay. I know people that have it, and they are just brilliant minds. But yeah, some of them have some social skills. But then again, the rest of us sitting here at the broadcast probably have a lot of social skills too. I mean, a lot of lack of social skills too.
Yeah, I ain't got shit.
Or another. I don't either.
Okay. We're good. We're equal.
Yeah.
That's why we get along and do this podcast. Anyway. It's awesome. Yeah, no,
that's why we get along and do this podcast.
Yeah, they got rid of. No, they didn't get rid of him. He left. That was funny. But Vic, he left. He stepped down. He doesn't want to be part of Doge. He doesn't want to. He's going to run for senator or governor.
Yeah,
governor.
Right, governor of Ohio. But I believe that people are upset on our side with him that he possibly knew that that's what his plan was going to be. And if he knew, then why did he accept the position if he was going to have to step down?
My personal opinion is that Elon Musk outshined him, and he didn't like it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because he did. I mean, all of a sudden, Elon Musk is on there, and Vivek, you never heard from again. So I don't know.
I don't know why Trump needed another person, but maybe he felt he had to have a second person. But I think he should have put Elon there, and as he's done, cut Elon loose and let him do the job. Like I say, when the number one in the United States of America, whether you like his politics or not, wants to snoop around the government and save you money, why would you complain? But I'll throw that out and let somebody else reply to it.
We'll just see how it goes. All right. There's just something I don't know. Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe he'll do one hell of a job, save us all a ton of freaking money, get rid of half the 3-letter agencies or all of them, and we'll all be living happily ever after. I don't know.
Yeah,
could go either way.
I did hear interesting things that Donald Trump evidently has named, I believe, the head of his personal, not his secret, the head of his personal Trump detail to become the Secret Service director, which, from my point of view, I guess if you're going to have somebody running the agency that is charged with protecting you 24/7, if you have someone on your own personal security who you think is capable of doing it, by all means, that's what you might want to do.
I think the main qualification for all these people, along with whatever their job is, obviously, is to clean up the mess inside of it, each of these agencies.
Yeah.
by being smart, being legal, and being quick about it.
Yeah. Yep. Robin Brunson, who was watching, said, I wonder how Nikki likes playing in the snow. There's a beautiful picture on his Facebook page of a shot of the snow outside. And,
Isn't he
I don't know
sick?
if he's better outside.
Yeah, well, he gets sinus headaches, and they're like migraines to him.
Yeah.
So
And they
Okay.
usually
I sent him
last
a link.
about a day or so, and so it's still going.
Oh,
yeah.
I sent him a link. I wasn't sure if he would join us.
He said he
or
was
not,
feeling
the
better
weather that
today.
he's
He was
going
up
through.
3 or 4 hours, and he went back to bed. So he may be in bed now. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our thoughts and prayers are with him. We hope he feels better, and he's back on everywhere that you can see him on the Nicky Young Network.
Hey, Jimmy Collins is
Very
here.
quickly. Jimmy Collins is here. Yep. Jimmy Collins is here. Robin Brunson is here. Jerry Michaels is here. Les is here. Alan McMillan is here. William Grant was at the top of the hour here. And Jane O'Malley was up at the top of the hour, too. And again, I want to thank Jane for checking in on me like she always does to make sure that we're going to be here. She said she had thought that I had a cold and I wasn't doing a broadcast. And I said to her, no, our internet has a cold. And tried to keep me from being able to do them. And somebody else talk. Well, I'll just pass it around. And everybody, if you're watching, give it a thumbs up and share.
And she always has very important things to share and intelligent things to bring up.
Yeah,
no
Jen,
pressure.
it's your Jen, it's your turn.
Yeah. No pressure. Thanks. Just you're funny.
Wait a minute.
Okay, Dave. I was so impressed and absolutely loved Carrie Underwood already, but then to see when they wanted to cut to her song, it was funny because Jesse and I were both laughing. We're like, look, Elon Musk is sitting there laughing because he's like, it's the IT guys, they can't find the music. And then she just belts it out and she starts singing a cappella, and it was beautiful. So I was very proud of her yesterday. That was awesome. Yeah. And besides that, did you see any of the balls afterwards? We saw like the first one and a part of the second one. And by the third one, I was like, good night. It was like 1 a.m. Even the family, they're standing up there and they're like, the television is flashing all these different shapes, stars all around. And I think there was a band. We heard music. But even the family's just standing there. They're like, this is great, but we're dead tired. They're like standing there with their eyes shut. It was nuts. But it was a great day. It was just a little over exaggerated, but it was good. Did you see any of the balls?
Did the president actually make it to any of the balls? Because Jerry, I thought, said to me that the lights on in the Oval Office were on until 2, or Michael, I think it said, the lights were on until 2 a.m. and then came back on at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And if he was in the Oval Office until 2 a.m., he obviously didn't make it to any of the balls.
He was at the first one. He had a cummerbund and a bow tie. And Melania had a beautiful dress. And that was nice to hear that someone actually wanted to help dress. I don't know if it was a Versace or something fancy, but it was pretty. And it was lovely. It was great. The first ball was good, and they like couldn't stop. I'm like, good God, it was crazy. And then the prayer breakfast this morning. I don't know what that was about. Do they always do that? Like after the inauguration, have a prayer breakfast at the cathedral? It's like the famous Capitol Cathedral. That's where they have all the presidents.
Is that the church where the ladies, the minister's a lady?
Oh,
and she was talking down to Trump about the gays, the lesbians, and the transgenders.
Yeah, well, no, it's the same church.
Yeah. Can you imagine the balls of that lady talking down to the president of the United States?
Episcopalian.
Well, the guards at these freaking jails have for not letting the J6ers out. Same one.
I heard that they weren't going to get out till 8 o'clock this morning. That I didn't hear anything.
Oh, they were still holding some of them up until a little while ago.
Yeah, they're still not all released. The paperwork, like it's almost as if it's getting like shoved under the carpet or something. But it's like
It is.
we're having problems with processing and etc. And it's whatever. But that's not the only problem on some of these executive orders that should have had executive action immediately already. There's a lot of things that are not moving forth, even though they were signed and approved to do.
I wonder if it's because the ones they're not releasing have suffered injuries. Because they're showing at the one prison, they're showing someone being taken out by an ambulance.
Yeah, there are some rumors to that effect, Randy, all over the place.
Do you guys know if they ever arrested and prosecuted the Capitol Guard that shot and killed Ashley Babbitt?
No.
Some bitch didn't get pardoned though,
Yeah, I think he quit too.
Yeah, I'd hide.
Shortly after
the people that worked for the Capitol. What happened to them at the beginning?
Yeah. And
well, in DC, you can bet that Muriel Bowser, whatever her fucking name is, has something to do with them not getting released. I don't know what's going on in Colorado. I think they all got out at this point. There was like 6 or 8 of them. There's some that I hear, one guy in Santa Fe that wasn't being let out. And there's a couple others, I guess that maybe they're the part where he said they're looking into them further, that they're not getting out. So at this point anyway, so I think he's going to piss people off if he don't let every one of them out. I think so. He's going to need to do something.
And I don't know the law, but what is this thing that other people that Biden pardoned, now that he's pardoned them, if they ever get put on trial about anything, they absolutely cannot lie. And I was like, you can't lie in the beginning, but if that's perjury. What did you hear about that? Is it like a catch-22? Right. Was it bad that he did that? I mean, of course it was. It was. How else do you say, hi, I'm guilty? Besides
when they make a deal with a convict, like a felon, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make that deal with the same stipulation. You have to tell us everything, and it has to be the truth, obviously. I don't remember the last time I heard of somebody getting charged with perjury.
Wow. So anyways, they're saying that this is going to be bad. This is going to really bite him in the butt that he pardoned all these people, because if it ever goes to trial, if someone who was, involved in that and got offended by something that these people did that were pardoned, when they go to trial, these people don't have a leg to stand on, that they're pretty much already done.
Well, Jim said the guard was pardoned. I don't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm still thinking that if the federal government goes to Hunter Biden and says we can pull your pardon and you will go to jail, and all you have to do is to avoid it is spill your guts, he's going to spill his guts because he's a pretty boy and he can't drink his favorite beverage. He can't mix his favorite beverage in prison. And
well, as Michael said, they're going to squeeze people like that. They're going to squeeze a lot of people. It's like anything else. You start at the bottom and you work your way all the way to the top, and I believe that it won't take near as long as it normally does.
Hey, did Biden pardon himself?
No,
he pardoned his son.
He pardoned everybody else.
Executive privilege.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to take as long as it normally. Like to get a drug dealer, you start with the guy in the road and then you keep moving up. It takes 2-3 years. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think if we're gonna see any kind of legal actions taken, it will be within the first year and a half. But again, who they take them on, who knows? if at all.
People he forgot to pardon was Jack Smith, Crooked, Juan Brashan, the prosecutors, Fonnie Willis, and then the one, Letitia James. He didn't pardon any of them. So there's still.
He didn't pardon Vindman either.
No.
And Vindman's wife is pissed. She's all over Twitter, pissed off. And this tells people something very important, that when you get involved with these assholes, in the end, they're going to take care of themselves, and you ain't nowhere near that in part of the group. You're way below that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, on a good note, I hear there were 14,000 oil workers at work this morning doing what they were doing before Biden was inaugurated 4 years ago. So that was encouraging. And I hope that a lot of America is working again. And I can't wait to see the prices drop. Eggs were $7.99 a carton. And this was yesterday. Jesse's like, what the heck kind of chickens are they getting these eggs from? So we didn't go with eggs. So it's been a weird breakfast for the last 3 days. We couldn't afford it. What in the world? Just nuts.
For 18, we paid almost $7.
Oh my god!
The dozen is like almost $4. So they're actually, I think they're actually more expensive to buy 2 dozen than it is to buy 18. So
I don't know why, but
it's 24.
I don't know. We go through a lot of damn eggs in this house because I love eggs, and then when I bake or whatever, you gotta have eggs and stuff. So, but she's right. It's utterly it's out of control, and a lot of it has to do with the frickin' bird flu. They're killing whole flocks of them. And I personally think that's all bullshit myself.
I think that was intentional, just to like you said, so that just to take that away from us. Okay, Chuck, thank you. Chuck has got to step out. He'll be right back. But Jerry, I think that is 100%. They did that. They did that to us on purpose, and whether or not it accomplished the means that they wanted, I think is wrong. I hope Trump gets prices on everything. My sister in California and I were talking again today because she's ripped. She's an independent. She's ripped that Trump canceled Biden's $35 insulin executive order. And I said to her, you have to stand back for a moment and watch RFK Jr. once he gets in, sits down at the desk over at Health and Human Services and knows what he wants to do and comes out and does it. And he's going to most likely either get that same deal or something better. I don't know, but that is not going away. I just think that RFK Jr. is going to be the best Health and Human Services Secretary we have had in God knows how long.
It would be nice. It's like we were talking about. They got rid of the red dye, whatever the number is, and 2 years from now. And that's like a big victory. Yeah. So they're going to poison people for another 2 fucking years, which I gotta be truthful is not. Why not just stop? Just stay. Just no more. That's it. Goodbye. I don't know.
Is it the dye itself that is bad, or is it the fact the bugs that they use to make it?
I have no idea. I know I enjoy a lot of foods with red dye and blue dye and this and whatever the hell, words I can't even pronounce that probably should not be on the shelves or sold to humans, or I don't know. I don't think the aliens would like them. I got to tell you something. I put this NutriTaste in my coffee, right? And we had a cockroach problem, and the only place the cockroaches weren't was inside that jar, and I'd leave the lid off. I forget to put the lid off once, and the cockroaches wouldn't even go in that jar. That should tell you all you need to know. Now, I killed the cockroaches because they wouldn't stay away from me. But the thing is that, when a cockroach won't eat it, and they will eat literally anything. They'll eat wood. They don't care. They're very not discerning. They don't have any 5-star restaurants in cockroach land. None of that crap. So they won't eat that. And it's like, wow, that's not good. And I'm thinking of just going to. I eat cane sugar, and I know I should look at the bag and look at the ingredients, but it's my last. I can't grow my own sugar, so that's all I can do.
Wow.
Hopefully, Ralph Nader will look down on simpler, easier to read labels and feel proud. But because wasn't he the one who said if you can't pronounce and don't understand what an ingredient is, don't buy it,
Ralph
regardless of what it is?
Don't eat it. Yeah. No, this is
in the 60s and the 70s. Ralph Nader was on TV damn near every day for something, and it had kind of like what JFK is doing. But it's basically, it was for all consumer products, but a lot of it was food. And he did say that, and that's how long they've been putting that stuff in, and that's basically our whole life, more or less. Unfortunately, it's getting way more than less, but yeah.
The newest procedure they're doing in the doctor's offices, they're saying you have to have this done. They're like putting a baseline of 35 years old for a colonoscopy. I'm like, what? And Jesse, oh my God. I'm like, honey, no, I won't do it. I'm like, no. It was funny when, what's his name? He used to be on here. Oh, I missed Jamie and Robert Lawless. When I said I couldn't do it, I went to my annual exam, blah, blah, blah. And they check for these tests. And I'm like, oh, you haven't had your colonoscopy? I'm like, no, I have not. I turned 50. I'm like,
we're not talking about that.
No, but no, this is a really good point because it goes along with the food thing.
Oh, okay.
No, what they do is I said, no, I'm not doing that. I have enough bad stuff going on right now. I don't want to leave my colon alone. But those dyes, those food dyes and the weird ingredients in the food that you can't digest, what they do is they stick to the inside of your colon and they start like weird growths and cancers. And so that's what the colonoscopy is picking up. And they've never had such a surge in colon cancer as they have in the last 2 years. I said 2. That's weird. Usually they say 5 to 10. They said 2. And I'm like, great. Ever since we had Biden and he, and his new FDA guy who did nothing. Oh, it was terrible. What he did, he signed everything. Anything passed just so the companies could get cheaper products to sell to the American people. They can't sell this stuff in England. In the UK, it's not legal because they know it's a toxin and it will hurt people. So that's why they're really pushing this new test. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. It terrifies me.
It just never made sense to me that where did we go from when, we had a corner lot where we lived in California, my parents' last house.
Hey, let me interrupt you for a second. Anybody here know Franklin Morehouse Jr.?
I know of him on Facebook. I don't actually know him.
He died of cancer.
Very sad. I know him on Facebook.
I knew him
for a long time.
He made me an admin in his group without asking, so I was like, okay. I still get freaking alerts from it. But and I was pissed off the other day because I didn't want to deal with it, and now I feel bad. Damn.
Do you know what kind of cancer? Is it colon cancer?
No, I have no idea. They're apparently Larry Burns. Why is it that Larry knows more about America than we do?
I love it. Right. That's funny.
But he was a pretty good guy. He had MS, I believe, too. Didn't help, but
Yeah.
and he got married once, and that worked out about as well as oil and vinegar. And he was living in a camper out back of his parents' house with his Great Danes, or Great Dane, and he seemed relatively happy, I guess, as the rest of us are. But anyway, all right. I'm sorry, Dave.
No, it's okay. And cancer, I'm still convinced that cancer is something that, I don't know if it was Fauci, somebody in our government created it, or somebody in our government created it. Joe Biden will never be listed as knowing the cure of cancer, because if he did, he either forgot about it and we're never going to see it again, or hear of it again. And I can't think of any life of anybody I know, even
They
if
fucking got
somebody on the street that doesn't have someone, or even them, that is going through.
How ivermectin cures cancer. It's, I'm assuming that's in certain cases. I don't know, but they got cures.
Yeah. I mean,
Look how long Bill Clinton's been living, and he's had this like spot on his face
if
for
you
the
see
longest.
him without his makeup on, he looks like death 100 years warmed over. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's from the style of life that he lived, but he just looks like death warmed over. And I gotta wonder how long it takes his makeup artist to make him up.
He's probably determined to live longer than his wife, just to piss her off.
Remember when she said she didn't wear makeup? She just had, or she didn't have plastic surgery. She's like, I just have a really good makeup artist. This was like back when she was going against Trump the first time in 2016. And then around 17, 18, I'm looking at her face fall. I'm not mocking her. I'm just thinking, girlfriend, your makeup artist is not nice to you anymore. I'm sad.
Right. I think when we were talking last night on Jerry's broadcast, I couldn't remember the word. Daryl finally said it to me. So if I say it wrong tonight, it's something like adrenochrome, which is something they take out of young children's blood, and it takes a lot of young children to make an amount that anybody can use, and it's very expensive. And
it's a blood drink.
I just can't. It's a blood drink. It's literally a blood drink. It's in their blood, and it's a secret of beauty that I guess these people found, and it gives them the fountain of youth, I guess. But if you think about how it's made, and then you look at the people who use it, they ought to be sent to prison for 150 million years without it.
Yeah, what's so sick is it came out at the same time that movie came out, Monsters Incorporated, where they were like scary. It was like a funny show. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what they say too. We get prepared ahead of time by Hollywood, but what we're going to experience and see what happens in the future, so that it's like normal to us. So it's like Operation Bluebeam. They do all these things, so we're not just distracted, but it's like making us think it's normal. And what they're doing in the cartoon movie by Pixar is they're like scaring kids. They're like these monsters, and they're not like ultra creepy. I mean, they're like Disney characters or cartoons, and they live in the kid's closet. And they come out at night, and they get the kid to scream, and then they like, you see their little scream meter go up, and they're like,
oh yeah, I saw that. I like that cartoon.
I love that.
I love negative energy charges.
But I gotta say, But I honestly got to say that if Mike Wazowski came into my room in the middle of the night, he would be the one who would be laughing.
Oh, don't tell.
Or screaming. So
I enjoyed that cartoon.
if you woke up Donna, he might not be screaming very long.
Hit him with a bat. That's funny. No, that was a really cute cartoon. I thought that was a really good one. This is great. We haven't seen something like this ever. And then to find out that this adrenochrome comes out, I was like, holy cow. They're not taking their screens, they're taking their stinking blood.
Well, they process it the same way they process a blood test, pregnancy test.
Wait. What part of that cartoon I missed about blood? All I remember about it was that they were they were paid according to how many screams they got, and they go in, get them screamed, and the meter shows how much they screamed. And at the end of the cartoon, it was changed to laughter.
Yeah, that's great. It's not what Michael's saying is great.
Right.
Tell us, when does this happen?
After what's the guy, the big monster took over.
Randall
took over the company.
Randall.
It changed to laughter, but in the beginning, it was the bad monsters were sent out to harness the negative energy because that's what the world ran on.
As it does now.
I want to hear you.
Or the planet, it's the impulse. Okay.
I want to hear Michael say it's just a blood test because I feel like it's a human sacrifice. I'm like, I think it's so much.
Do you remember when you were a kid, your scabs looked kind of different? Think about this. I want you to go into your mind, register into your mind. Your scabs would have like an outer rim.
Oh God!
Okay.
Yeah.
Now they've changed as you get older. That's why they have a preference to age on what they do because the body is, making this substance during certain age processes of life, and when that stops, then the children are over that, and that's why they put them into human trafficking and sell them as for sex slavery. The other ones get used for producing this blood, this adrenochrome. Okay, but it works like a pregnancy test where they put the vial and they spin it, and then the separation between the blood and the clear liquid comes. It's the clear liquid. It ain't nothing to do with the blood.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's the healers, the property healers.
Plasma, maybe? I don't know.
Okay.
It's kind of like a plasma. I have it written down, the technical term of it somewhere in this 100-page box that I have here. I'm not looking for it. Screw that.
It's very expensive.
Okay.
It's not like what people think. I mean, they were mass producing so much of this shit back in the 2000s. It was pathetic. And that's why we see a lot of people looking so, fertile and young and so forth like that. But a lot has happened over the past 25 years, and some things have changed because there were things happening. Some of our military was doing work strikes that people weren't even familiar with. And presidents had to go along with the military because they were discovering certain things. Otherwise, they would be, basically admitting to guilt, knowing about it. So they would say, okay, you got our permission, hit it, strike it. And they would take down some of their own things. The same way they take down a drug cartel plane. It's their own plane coming in. But if you make something look good and say, hey, we're your government, and we just took 500 pounds of cocaine out of the, out of the United States, we intercepted this. So they look good. So they don't mind giving up things because the bigger amount of product is going to come out no matter what. I mean, look really into the Clinton Foundation. If you really want to know the truth and how big it was, that they in fact owned one of the banking industries. They actually owned a bank where they gave loans that never had to be paid back in order to filter money into other wallets. This is really a hairy scenario. But I mean, I don't want to say a lot on this, to be honest with you. I don't know if we're free enough yet in America to be able to talk about this. But I think when you put 2 plus 2 together, it's 4. They're going to tell you it's 5. And that's where the information really lies, within that lie. Because, it's to bring a lie to birth is, how they work upon everything. So, Anyway, yeah, so that's part of how they actually do it. It's not no long process of anything. You can buy laboratory equipment from any medical supplying company in the world. You know, you just got to have the tubes. You got to have somebody there who's actually hooking these arms and legs up to extract as much as they can out of them till they take them to that point of death. And that's what they want. When they get them to there, that's when the activity in the blood really starts to become fertile. That's where they go. That's where the most condensed material, because our body's making it, you know. And they've tried to create synthetics, but the synthetics don't do anywhere near what the real stuff does.
Wow.
And what are we doing to go? I mean, are we capable of going after these? I don't know what you call them. These people that are doing it. Can we find them, or are they that well hidden we'll never find them?
That's below level 7. That's what I used to talk about. They're findable, and they have been found. A lot of them. But, you know, a lot of people are saying they were flooding the tunnels. They were doing nothing. No, that's bullshit. They weren't. They were actually down there making things, you know, imploding and using nuclear boring machines for roadways. I mean, we probably have, from everything and the people that I talk to that I know and I really, really trust, this world is so much bigger than what people realize. But the roadways down there are probably close to networking somewhere 50,000 miles plus. 50,000. I know at one point, I had a friend who drove a truck in New Jersey, and he would grab the U.S. containers. Now, what was in them, I don't know. He never told me anything about that. And his nickname was Trucker. That's what we called him. We all hung out together at the camps and stuff up in the mountains where I carve and shit. We'd all get together and have parties. And he told me one night sitting there, he says, Mike, I got in the tunnel in New Jersey, and I didn't come up till I hit California. And he says, I didn't have to stop. I didn't have to pay. And they have gas. They have fueling stations. They have special credit cards that they run under that not really credit cards, but you put this card up to the machine. You can fill up your tanks. You keep going. Right. So he was working for a portal trucking company in New Jersey.
Well, if the reptilians live under there, which everyone seems to say they do, I've seen pictures of their cities that make it look like cities that look like Grand Central Station back in the heyday.
What you're seeing is Agarthia.
Okay.
Agarthia. Okay. Look up Agarthia.
Is that where they are?
Well, it said that they are, but it's, you know, I mean, look, has a body ever been produced?
No.
Has Bigfoot ever been produced?
No.
Has Dogman ever been produced? We're told they're adversaries. We're told they work with us. Right. We know that there's something going on, but we have more proof of the UNA, which is UNA for the ant people, the ones who taught the indigenous how to protect themselves and took the Indians underground. And there's proof of that with all the petroglyphs and the caves, no matter where you go in the Indian nations. They draw these things out, and it tells the story where these giant ant creatures, and you can imagine how strong they are if these things really are somewhat of within existence, still alive, just from the world below. And I don't know that that's true, but I can tell you within the tunnel systems, there has been problems that had occurred. Phil Snyder talked about it. They basically had weaponry that we didn't even know how to identify, which cut him open like a laser. Now, this is a guy from Area 51 who didn't live long. He died with a piano string around his neck, but they said yet he committed suicide. But yet he hung himself in no way to hang himself. By no means did he could hang himself. But this is how the same fabric that works even within the Clinton Foundation. Right. How many people have been found dead around her? Imagine that. Anybody was going to go to testify, anything that was about to come out, the subject of person committed suicide. Right. It's how they do it. So anyway, we do know that these things exist. And one of the other things is if we're working with a molten core, when we look at the planet, everybody says there's this, it's not really the hollow earth theory. The hollow earth theory surrounds this molten core, supposedly. I've never been down there. I know that there are elevator systems. They're called the sideways. The sideways go down so far that they move sideways on a trajectory that goes down like this. They don't do this; they go like this, and they had to do that to get through the layers to get down there. And they supposedly through what we call uh, uh, Medusa, Project Medusa, that was part of an extraction team that went down there and found a lot of, but again, we don't see them. They claim they have them, and they're in military underground bases of these subjects of life. So, I mean, it's pretty weird. It's pretty fascinating. But look, like, as they say, the temperature of the earth as you go down gets hotter. Well, send a thermometer to the lowest part of the ocean, and it's going to come up like frigid, like going into outer space. So, I mean, you know, it's controversial, is what I'm going to say, but I do know that there are things down there that exist, mainly the things that we are involved in. The dirt and the dark, and those places have been busted repeatedly over the years. They really have, but they always come upon by accident.
What do you think, Jerry?
Well, first of all, Franklin's not dead, apparently.
Oh, good. Very good.
Because Larry apparently used spell check. I don't know how he got Franklin out of. There's another guy who used to come on our show all the time. He died of cancer, 18 months of fighting it. What do I think? I think there's so much crap I don't know. It makes my head hurt. It does.
Okay, well, that Medusa consisted of Victor 12, paramilitary, assault force, and psychic divisions of Delta Group 58. They're the ones that go into the extraction programs, and they're the ones that have been in the tunnels for many years, collecting data and so forth. I can tell you that. And to be honest with you, in about 3 more weeks, two of the people that were in this will be on the show with me.
Yeah. Has Dr. Amy gone down there? Because I know that when Randy and I think it was Chuck and you and I had her on, she had said something that we may have pushed the reptilians down there. They weren't down there all along. It sounded like we came around like everybody else.
I think that's based upon research of information that's collected, but I don't know the validity of it, and I'm not going to agree with it. But I won't try to challenge somebody. I think they're going by information. Some claim and may claim that they are talking to extraterrestrials, and they very well may be. I'm not one of those. I'm talking to brick and mortar, physical human beings, like that. But some say that they have this ability as well as the remote viewers. And if you go back to Ingo Swann, he was the DMT king. I mean, he was the one that was, getting people's minds, following what Germany was doing, and what they were doing as far as talking to these other dimensions, bringing in special psychics and all that. But we also had presidents that ran the presidencies with psychics. They were part of the round table because they were following what Germany was able to collect. The data that seems to be collected is something that comes from a dimension that mediums have a capability of being able to bring back into their own mind and understand it, like collect picture data. That is how that works. They look at something and they're given like a certain amount of information, and then they come back, they draw a picture of it. They have 100 of them in the room, 50 of them in the room, and then they look at the 3 or 4 that actually all have the same information. They use that same information that was able to be produced through ayahuasca and all these different types of hallucinogenics and things that take them into these other realms of dimension. And then they utilize that information as factual information. Then they use other scientific data because they have points then that they can investigate. And then they use technology to try to investigate, to break down the material data to see if it actually exists properly.
Right. And there are rumors that Hitler, if you were a Nazi astrologer and you were feeding him information, if your information didn't get him the result that he wanted. You got called in and he asked for your gun and he shot you in the head with your gun.
I guess that's possible that it could have happened like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I do know a lot about what happened, where the breakaway civilization went, who was involved in that, the other countries that they fought and they hit themselves in the Antarctic, New Schwaben, look into New Schwaben, Agarthia, these things like that. Brad Olson, who does a lot of detailed information on it. Then you have some of our own military who went up there and got pretty much destroyed by UFOs. And they were described in the documentation of Admiral Berg's diary from his son that a craft came out of the water and basically sliced one of our destroyers in half. So you have these things out there. You have stories. You have confirmation from good people. And they basically get rid of the people that have the information. Whether it's like mysteriously, even some of our military have jumped out of windows. I mean, they're stopped from ever going any further for whatever reasons. Same with the music industry. They were all developed through our military, a divisional place of, how they were going to do the MK Ultra mind control programs. And like the Doors, Jim Morrison's father was high up in the military. And if you start connecting to all these people, all those dots, they were just people brought together to create something, to narrate. And that's where some of these hidden agendas are within. Paul McCartney's dead. Paul McCartney's dead. Played the record backwards. Led Zeppelin played the record backwards. Look, they've given us the information of what they were going to do. It's up to people to go how far. That's why this thing's so huge. It took me more than, Jesus Christ, man. At my age now, I mean, it's like 55 years I've been playing in this garbage. And it's a dump, and it's a dump. And I got 3 boxes of a dump right next to me. I swear I was in it today looking for some information, but it's so deep. It's so deep. But the thing is this, it always brings us back, and I think Jerry will take this in a good way. It takes us back to I don't know what the I just found.
You can say it on this broadcast. We don't have a 15-second delay.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Well, yeah, I know. I had to clean something up for the audio for the radio the other day. That was
I apologize. That was my
That's
my
all right.
fault.
That's all right. It's going to get played throughout the month, so it'll be heard again and again. But no, it's the cognitive dissonance alliance. It's to always bring us back to a place where we're right at the forefront of everything, knowing it. We have no way to grasp it and throw it out and say publicly, here it is.
Yep.
I mean, truthfully.
Yep. It's a bishop.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching some footage of a woman. It was wife swap. It was an old one.
I'm sorry.
I can't
Go
talk.
ahead,
Go ahead.
Jerry.
I'm just going to be a second, Jen.
That's
sorry.
okay.
Mary Todd Lincoln used psychics. Now, I don't know if Lincoln was involved in all that, but there were psychics at the fucking White House way back then.
Oh, yeah. Teddy Roosevelt, all of them had them.
Yeah.
Their wives would bring them in.
Yeah.
Spiritualism. Well, you know what? It's part of who really the deep state is. They've always practiced this. Think about it. When you collect data like you are, and we know that there's facts behind it, there's TV programs about it and who these people were coming in. Same with what the ones that Germany was using. It's because, in a way, I truly believe, and I don't believe, I disbelieve a lot. Believe me, I really do. But I truly do believe that we have some very special people that have an ability. It's profound, but it's true.
No, I agree with that 100%. There are some. Most of them are not on TV or on the internet.
Or the information gets removed. When they realize somebody's looking at it too much, it evaporates.
Yeah. It just, I sat down one night at a bar half lit and with a so-called tarot card reader. And I paid attention actually to what she was asking me. And she could surmise every single thing she said from what I answered. And it was, it's like, okay. So, but I believe there's people out there that can see things. Future past, long past that nobody knows, that kind of shit. I mean, sorry, Jen, go ahead.
No, because you're guys, you're supposed to know this stuff. Please tell me. Because this is what happened. I was watching footage of a homeschooling mom it was wife swap. So, anyways, she swapped. It's nothing kinky. They get paid $10,000 to help the network produce this show, and they swip lives with another wife to raise their kids and to be the wife in the house for 2 weeks. Well, this one was crazy. I was like, girlfriend, just shut the door and stay there. Don't do this again. Okay, so she's like claiming she's a homeschooling mom, and she's a homeschooler. So she takes her kids to the amusement park, and I'm like, yeah, we did that too. In 8th grade, we went to Cedar Point, and we were like learning slope and everything, inertia, stuff like that. And she did not believe in gravity. And I was like, yeah, if you drop something, it falls. There's something in the center of the earth that is a magnet that's pulling us all. Well, I'm not metallic. The blood I have isn't even metallic, is it? I have iron in my blood. It's not metallic. So what is it? Because we're talking about the core of the earth. What is part of a molten ball of lava that is magnetic? What makes us
it's not
fall?
really that it's magnetic. They utilize that information to keep our minds going, but it's the mineral content that's closest because of the magnetic sphere when Earth came together, because it was actually a meteor, a magnetic meteor type of thing. Anomaly. Look in football what they do. They wear magnetic gloves and they throw a magnetic ball. The balloon is actually magnetic now. It's been that way for a long time. That's how some of these guys can do these extravagant one-handed catches, and it just sits in their hand, and it doesn't always, but if it catches the right way, they're going to receive the ball. So it kind of works with the same theory. Everything is through electromagnetisms. I get that. And that's part of what the quantum theory and string theory all kind of like focuses in representation to. And that's why I was saying to you, if you send something down, the temperature doesn't change. So if there's something so hot down there, and we've drilled down many miles as far as we can go. I mean, these projects have been underway for, generational periods of time. We're not getting anything, but we are hearing weird shit. We picked up on microphones very, very weird anomalies, sounds.
Yeah, screaming. Yeah, it's horrible. I've heard those. But you said something fascinating, and I can't get over it, so I just have to do more research. As you say, how is the bottom of the ocean frozen, cold, but right underneath it is the center of the earth, and it's molten lava? That's crazy. And it's all magnetic?
There's electricity in all properties, and that's how magnetisms work. It has to somehow be amplified in order for it to be able to work. It's like when you put two magnets together, you can push one away, but if you flip them the other way, they connect. So it needs a fabric of control. We don't understand everything about the control of how it works through natural occurrences. That's why we follow the ley lines, the fault lines, and we look. But if you go back in time, the ancients were the ones that knew how to follow this, because that's where you were most healthy. When you built something a certain way within a certain area, and that's how health was different years ago. The gardens were in areas like that. The waters were more pure. When water moves like a drain as it goes down in a circle, it creates an energy. A sphere of energy, and people don't realize you can harvest from that energy. That's how a motor will work on water. So you got to, everything it's collected. It's dark, like a dark matter, and we can extract from it. And that's what they stop and suppress all that information, or people go missing who developed a car that ran on water, or a machine that was able to extract from dark matter and power a house. You know, it's just not putting an alternator to a generated to hook up to a generated motor that becomes amplified once that first unit starts, and then it just can run forever. It doesn't need fuel. These are the type of things that they know we can't have them. But there's a lot of people in the world out there who were the preppers that have figured out all this technology, and they utilize it. They do use it daily.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. And now I know for cars, there's a fuel cell technology that has something, I don't totally understand it, but my brother has one in the bed of his pickup truck. And that supposedly, I don't understand how it works, but supposedly you use less gas and get the same mileage.
Yeah, well, that's called the combination system. We actually had those years back. They came out where we had a motor in the car, but it also had electric drive motors. So the car was like half and half. It was making cars get twice the amount of mileage per calibrated gallon of free energy with gasoline. So the
Toyota Prius was the birth of that, basically.
Exactly, the Prius. That was the
United States.
They stopped that.
Worst car I ever drove.
I gotta tell you, a lot of people talk great on with. Here's the thing: when they ran right, they ran great.
Oh yeah.
So we know that that's where Tesla's going with his next new multiverse of electric vehicle. It's going to be to combine this, because that's where the longevity of traveling will be. Because the car can take over, and you don't always have to use it.
Oh yeah, they drove really well, and it was a comfortable car to drive. But unfortunately, when you're used to driving a Ford Crown Victoria, retired police cruiser, and you jump into a Toyota Prius, and you're hitting the highway, and you're doing 95 miles an hour down the highway, and all of a sudden you hear the sound of your engine stalled, but you're moving fine at 95 miles an hour. After 15 minutes of driving the car, I took it back to the owner of the company, and I just said, I can't do it. And he said, why? And I said, because at 55 miles an hour, I hit 65 miles an hour. I hear something that sounds like the car is stalling, and I'm pulling over to the side of the road all the time. I said, I want my 95 Crown Vic back.
Yeah, I didn't know that they ever made one that went that type of speed. I know that they were like governed. They were working off a governor, and that's when you hit the max on the governor, you would get that. So it's boggy. Yeah. It's boggy. It's working like a diesel that has a bad turbo on it, and it's got a crack in it. Yeah. It's sucking air. The motor's losing its compression and its pressure. When it loses that pressure, it starts to die. So it loses its energy, and that you get that bog sensation. So I never knew that they went 95. I never read any ounce of information that they could do that.
I can tell you a lot of cars that I drove that went faster than they were supposed to go.
Then you should be you should have a bunch of trophies in your cupboard from.
No, it was.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to say I don't know how you got that. No, whatever. If you were doing it, I guess you were doing it.
I bought it when one of my town cars got totaled in an accident that wasn't my fault. I bought a 97 Ford Expedition from the Massachusetts State Police that had the police package Triton.
I could see you doing something like that.
V8.
Did you have the hat going down the road too? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
That would be cool.
I didn't have any. I didn't. You blew my mind with whatever you said, but I never had any problem driving that car. One night, I had a customer that I had to move very quickly, and I just happened that I could jump into a state police escort because they thought the car was theirs, and it had been theirs, but I bought it at an auction, and the sergeant leading the escort said, yeah, just jump in and have your hazard lights beam, and everybody will think you're one of us anyway. And I learned that even though I think it said 110 miles an hour on that car, let's just say it was doing about 130 miles an hour in that whole hour run. But anyway.
What kind of car was that?
It was much faster. '97 Ford Expedition. The first year they made them, they took an F1.
I mean, I could see a Ford Cleveland or a Windsor motor 351, depending upon the modification. If you're familiar with that, being able to reach a maximum speed of 110. But you said 130.
Yeah, they had it on radar. They had another unit that was on that was behind me the whole time, because that was his place to be, and he clocked it and showed me what it was doing. The speedometer, I think the speedometer said 110, and I never took that up that fast.
3,200 pounds times the cubic inch of the motor. I don't know, man. I don't know. How far did you put the pedal to the ground? I mean, was there a hole in the floor?
I don't remember. But my Crown Vics always got 100, maybe 110 if you were lucky.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, dude. God bless you. You didn't get killed trying to drive like that.
No, they were, well, no, they were behind me, and the whole pack of vehicles was moving. The whole pack of vehicles that fast. It was a controlled. No, I wasn't just out on the highway doing 130 miles an hour, but and I would never do it again anyway. The problem with a Ford engine is you can get it up to great speed. I had a limo I could get up to 115. The only problem is getting it down from 115 back down to 55. That thing is just all over the road. You know, you're fighting to hold that steering wheel so the car stays straight.
I don't know.
Even the standard police cruiser.
I just say let off the gas and hit it in neutral, and it's going to drop to 55 in a heartbeat.
No, I know. Yeah, but
I mean, I did quarter-mile tracks. I did 8-mile tracks, and I mean, I really did. And I wasn't the driver. My brother actually owned these cars with a young gentleman he was friends with in the Pittsburgh area, and they ran at Indy. I mean, I watched them pull the wheels on this car and the transmission explode, and I watched a lot of fascinating things. So I know torque, I know power, I know Michigan, I know shaving the heads, I know the piston ratios, the compressions, 10 to 1, 12 to 1, 11 to 1. Overhead cam solid lifters. I know the dual carburetor, trip carburetors. I mean, look, I know the top max speeds on a lot of these cars. And you must have bought something that was really souped up by the police department.
Yeah.
I mean, super souped up.
I'm sure it was.
What would be the purpose for that? I mean, my thought is if you got to chase someone that's going that fast, let them wreck into the wall and you can catch up to them. It's the same as people driving in traffic now. They fly past you at a zillion miles an hour only to get to a freaking red light where I pull up next to them and just shake my freaking head. Like, how far did you really get? You know?
Yeah.
You can't beat radio waves. So that's what they do now. They tell you to break off at 100. If they catch your car moving, your police cruiser or police vehicle moving at 100 miles an hour, they tell you to break it off, and they just bring in, eventually that car you're chasing will pass the next car up, and they take over, or it'll crash and burn and die before they
gotcha.
catch.
Okay, cool.
They catch up to you. There is no reason for any car that I ever drove of mine over 100 miles an hour other than to just see if it could do it. There was no reason to ever be in one of my cars that ever had to do that speed. But my cabs were retired police cruisers. Except for the town cars, everything was retired police cruisers. But anyway,
two of my kids have Crown Vics, used police cars. And I'm terrified now. I thought it was a safe car because it was such a solid iron frame and it has such good crash ratings.
It's a solid frame car. The problem is the doors are hollow because the car was built. The car was built for speed. If you watch
what car door isn't hollow?
The old Crown Vics. Right. Well, but I mean, the car was light. It was light because they wanted it to move fast.
Yeah, I get that. That's how
Yeah.
Obama got to the country modifying the metal fabrics and plastics of cars. It's not that he created a better, more efficient motor. They lightweighted the vehicles. That's how they did it.
Right.
They did it all with physical eye compositions of materials.
But when that police cruiser ran over a squirrel and hit a brick wall, it wasn't a happy event.
No car is safe at 130 miles an hour. I don't give a
Right.
damn what you're driving. If you hit a
Right.
tree or wall or another car, you're going to have problems. So this is what
Right.
you tell your kids.
Right.
Don't do 130.
Right.
Very
Right.
simple.
Right. Or you put
Also,
the
maybe your husband
limiters
can put a
on
governor
if you
on
can.
there. They'll do 25 like an old lady, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
someone
I
shoots them
don't
with
know
road
what
rage,
happened.
then
Oh,
you got
that's
problems there. I don't know because there's no bulletproof either.
Or you take out the P-71 engine that most Ford police cruisers, most Ford Crown Vics had, and you put in a 4-speed Volkswagen engine. You're not going to get 85 miles an hour out of that car anyway.
You're better off in a Crown Vic than
right.
you are in most pickup trucks, Jen.
Sure.
Yeah.
To be truthful,
Yeah.
most pickup trucks do not do
I-
well in wrecks.
Right.
Wow, that's
The most solid car I had was a 95 Ford Crown Vic. And the only reason I sold it was because someone offered me a lot of money for it and I wanted to buy another town car.
nice.
Yeah.
No, my dad had an Oldsmobile Cutlass. Okay, this thing, it was so old. I think it was from the early '80s or possibly late '70s. It was my grandpa's,
I had
but
an
he
80
got
Cutlass.
it. This
It was a
thing
great car.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was
Did it have
solid.
paint
I had
issues?
When he sold
Did it
it,
have paint issues?
No,
it
No?
did.
not mine.
Mine did. Oh man, it was just like
no.
a cancer going across the hood. Yeah, it's terrible.
I had an 82 old Regency 98 Brougham, fully loaded. That car, when I bought it, had 275,000 miles on it. It had been a cab through its entire life. The only thing wrong with it was the air conditioner didn't work. And every year at the police inspection, they would come up to me and go, "Your car fails the inspection." And I'd go, "Why?" "Because it doesn't have working air conditioning. Go read the rule book, 85 or older." So they would look at me and go, "What's your point?" I would go, "That's an 82. It's exempt. It doesn't have to have it." But all right, Jerry's got to go. Randy had to go. I'm glad you came, Jerry.
It must be. We were talking about cars that what cars don't have hollow doors. I swear to God, this car, when Dad sold it, he sold it to this guy at his work, and his teenage daughter drove it, and she was a party girl.
Yep.
Anyway, she ended up getting in an accident and driving off of a cliff, and this car rolled like multiple times. It had a great seatbelt in it. Obviously, she was fine. It's like nothing ever happened. This thing was a tank. It was
You want a
seriously,
tank?
it was
I had
amazing.
a
So
77 Thunderbird, and that thing was a lead sled.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I got to tell you, it moved, and there was never a car made that was more comfortable. But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
wow. Did it have an ornament
It
hood?
did.
Hood ornament?
did.
I mean,
Or
it
Or,
did. Oh my
LTD.
gosh,
or
those are
Ricardo
cool.
That car was
or
something. I love that car, but one day it
Ricardo
started
What
leaking
color?
oil from literally everywhere, and I just said, "Okay, you're not going to do that." Anyway, I got to go. I hope to see everybody tomorrow night. I'm going to ask now, Jen, can you
will.
make it tomorrow, or are you busy with your little social butterfly activity?
With my butterflies. Yeah, I'm available. I'd love to
I
be
will
there.
send
That
you a
would be
link. Michael, of course, you're welcome. And Chuck, you'll be here tomorrow.
I will be up in Manitowoc, Wisconsin tomorrow. I have a load early on Thursday morning, leaving out of there, coming back down towards where I live. So if I can, I'll be there. I can't. You know.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you. If not, good luck on your trip.
Thank you.
Take care, Dave. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
You'll see me tomorrow. All right, Jerry. Thank you.
So
right.
tell us more about the Grandpapp's Cutlass. Was it a 442?
Wow. Yeah.
And he had,
Maybe.
did he have the four
I
banger on the
don't
floor, or was it
know.
an automatic? Automatic?
Automatic.
On the floor or on the column?
Yeah.
Column.
On the column. And this, it was amazing. I never saw this before because I am so young. No, it had wood interior. No, serious. It looked like wood interior. It was just the way they did things. Now, I mean, now you can get the black interior and it's black plastic, you know, is your whole dashboard and everything, or else. And this one was wood looking. It was, I'm sure it was a plastic, but they did that in the day. I mean, you guys have to know. We were all around in the 70s and 80s. It looked
way back
like
before
wood.
that.
It was
the Woody wagon really had wood, not the wood vinyl
Right.
sticker.
Yeah. I had my Cutlass back in the day where they just started switching over to unleaded gasoline, and I
isn't
could
that
not
funny? We
figure
got
out
to choose.
why unleaded gasoline was more expensive than the leaded gasoline, because
Right.
you know they had to add the lead to the gasoline back in. Yeah, so
Right.
you know you're adding something, it should
That's
make it cost
funny.
more. You know, but the unleaded gasoline was actually more, and you know we just kind of scratched our head like,
Well, it was more because they used to take the lead out of that gas and put it into the leaded gas.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, I just it was weird.
That was crazy.
I don't know. All I know is that
That's
I think one of the best times driving a vehicle was when we were in Texas the last time, and my son had bought a steering wheel and pedals for his road game and timed it for when we were going to be there. And that time I took the police SUV up in the hills of San Francisco and drove off the cliff. And I seem to remember my then 2-year-old grandson standing in the doorway looking at the screen, kind of laughing as hard as he could as the car
and you
is
still
rolling.
lived.
Car is rolling off the cliff.
That's
And
scary,
I'm going like this, you know, as I'm seeing it. And I seem to remember.
I've never flipped in a car. That's
No, I've
scary.
never flipped a car in my life either. No. My wife has, and thank God she is still here. It was not her fault either.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've come close a few times. I actually did take one of the security cruisers up on 2 wheels because I got too close to the sidewalk and went up. But it went up, and when I thought it was actually going to fall over all the way, it landed, but it busted both axles when it came down. It was not a fun
Right.
a fun thing, and I'm sure God was with me because he pushed that back thing over so it landed like it was supposed to.
That was good.
But
Crazy. Yeah. Well, my son, last story, sorry. My
Okay.
son, the one that converted his Crown Vic from an automatic to a
stick
manual. Yeah. It's good. It has so many problems. Jesse has to get an aluminum welder to make some special thing for the clutch on the inside of the car. It's crazy. That is like the biggest thing I've ever. But you know, you got to make mistakes when you're growing up because you don't want to do this when you're older and like out of the house. You don't have someone to pick up the pieces and fund it.
Actuator rod, because you are modifying something into something that wasn't made for something else. You know, you find that you got to change K-frames and mounings also when you do things like that, because I've been there, done it with a lot of different cars. But now I don't. I just buy the pretty things already done. You know, I'm just and you know what? I like pretty above all. I don't care. I mean, I don't know. It's not that I'm a glam squad guy or anything like that, but I go for the artistic values in automobiles and not just. I was pretty impressed with Fisher bodies. If any of you guys, Dave, you might know who handled Fisher bodies. All right, I'll help you because you know you were in the limousine business. I'll tell you, it was a Cadillac.
Cadillac? Was it Cadillac?
Limousine must have made that connection for you. There you go.
I think it was Cadillac.
Right. The Fisher Brothers, but they also were in the old Packards. That's they changed names and they became Fisher. But that is where the luxury, in a lot of ways, old school, old world luxury came from. And talk about an armored tank and how they were built, and they had hollow doors, but it was how the structures were put together. You know, that's why they put these things through crash tests, and they try to use less metals. Crash testing is very important because then it can tell them where to move the metals to, how to utilize the metals. They do get results from it, and they can make it cheaper then, but also more safe and more affordable. And that's why when convertibles first came out, it wasn't all about look. It was about cutting gas costs too, to make it more economical, give it more style. But in the snow, they were worthless. You know, you had to put 50-pound bags of sand in the trunks, because just without that additional, 700 pounds, it changed the whole car. It just changed the whole car.
We do that the trunk of the town cars every winter too in Massachusetts. Go out and buy 100 pounds of bricks, and then put a board over it and drill them into the bricks in the corners. And then every summer, one of our customers would buy the bricks from me because he always was re-bricking his backyard. And then, but yeah, you needed that weight even in the Crown Vics. The Crown Vics, but mainly in the town cars, I know. Cadillacs, I don't remember having that much problem in the winter.
Pickup trucks are like that too. Jesse and his dad would always put bags of sand or cat litter in the back to weigh it down, and so if they got stuck, they could sprinkle it on the road, and it was like gritty, you know, so it could get. It was crazy. So when we first met, we were first dating. I had this little. I think I had by that time the Sundance. It was so cute. It was so lightweight. He would purposely fill the trunk with kitty litter. And my mom's like, I didn't know you like cats that much. I'm like, I don't. Jesse does it because it weighs down the car. So it was crazy, but I learned, and it's so hard. You learn the hard way, but it's a good thing. It really is.
The old schoolers would take totes. Old school totes, and they would put bricks and dirt in them and wait for it to get cold out, fill them with water, but put them in the trunk first. Fill it with water, leave the trunk deck open, and disconnect the bulb for like a day and a half, and that gave them a 500-pound weight on each wheel. And 9 times out of 10, they never had to worry about getting out and throwing sand on, because believe it or not, that pressurizing of weight really it creates the traction. It just does. And when you didn't have traction, look what we did in the old days. We had chains. I used to ride around and with chains on my car. Nothing was stopping me. Put a chain on.
On the tires. Yeah. That's funny. Jesse does it now when he goes fishing. It's like, honey, your fishing days are done. Wait till the spring. He's like, oh no, but he has a fishing group and they do this. And it's not even ice fishing, but to get up and down the ramp, he has to put chains on the tire. And I'm like, just wait, let them.
Or you bought studded snow tires, but then you had to either take the studs out or have another set of tires, because in most cities you couldn't keep them on year round.
Yeah, they chewed the hell up out of the roads up here in Wisconsin, so they banned it completely now.
Yeah. In Massachusetts, they used to fine, where my brother and I lived, they used to fine you if you kept them on after, I think, November.
Yeah, we had that same thing too. Wow. But they never pushed it, but people were trying to be responsible enough, because they did make the claim that they would be so, on asphalt that it would just tear it up. The truth of the matter is, if you really think about it, when roads are kept in poor condition and water gets through, what's the worst enemy? Water gets underneath the road. It becomes ice. Ice is the most dangerous. Ice will break walls apart. Everything just falls apart. Right. Then the plows hit it, and it peels up huge potholes. So, they were just blaming a lot of a scenario. But look who owned the rubber tire market, and then you'll be able to figure out how petroleum worked and who owns Standard Oil and where did he make
I think
all his
someone
money
walked
from.
behind Jen and put her. I think someone walked behind Jen and put her dinner on the counter.
Her dinner on the counter?
Yeah, it looked like someone had.
Well, you
It
eat
looked
dinner
like
late.
a girl had a plate in her hand. It looked like a girl walked behind Jen, walked up to the counter, put something down, and then walked out. So,
It's taco salad. She probably has too many vegetables in it. And she's like,
I
Mom will take
saw
care
her
of
walking
it.
past the other little bit ago, and looked like she had a shopping bag, like she was going to take stuff out of the refrigerator and sneak it out of the house.
The only advice I can give my dear, the only advice I will ever give my dear friend Michael is don't park that beautiful white Mercedes next to a tree.
I gave that away.
Oh,
we joked about it
That's not
night.
what I drive anymore,
Don't
Dave.
park it. I know, but we joked about it.
I remember
that night.
this.
Not to park it against the tree.
Nothing bad happened.
No. I think you said the way the tree landed on it.
It was freaky. I mean, we were all outside and we heard the cracking, and it's like, oh shit, is something gonna hit the house? My property's unique, but not unique. So I wasn't far from the house. I was still on my property, but I was on another property at another house, and we started to hear. We all ran up the driveway, and it was really funny. One stem stopped right in front of the car on the one side of the front end, and then the branches all kind of like went over. The only thing that was on the car, and it looked devastating, but it was all just gentle leaves, you know? It was all the very edges of the ends, not a nick, not a scratch, but it looked like it was oh my God, it was going to be one of those moments it's destroyed. But walking up to it and starting, it was like, holy, I was able to get in it and actually drive it out from under it. And then the next day I got out a chainsaw and chopped that.
I leased at the time. I leased from a guy was I think a 2008 R350. That's just why, when I saw that, I was going, oh, please don't ever worship that car. I wish I still had that car. I wish when I had quit driving for him, he had sold me that car. But
that's funny. That's funny. Chuck, when I first met you and I heard you had this escort service, it was around Christmas time.
I'm a male escort.
I didn't get to say it, so
I did.
I was like, wow. We just saw this movie from 1988 called The Christmas Wife. And it was nothing kinky. She was married, but for extra money, she would take people. She had a beautiful smile, great personality. I'm like, that's what Chuck does. And then the more I'm learning, I'm like, oh, cars. I get it.
I had so much fun after Chuck told me that's what he did. Every time I could.
Escort.
Asking him how the escort service was. Yeah.
Until people I still get people look at my hat or whatever, and they pilot car service. I said I'm a male escort, and some of them will just start laughing, or some of them will have that confused look on their face, like, "What you?"
Do we talk about this?
Then I explain it to them, and they understand. But,
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's great. Good job. I love to hear your
head
stories.
out.
It's fun.
I like to listen a lot tonight. I just don't have much to say. One more degree down, and I'll be in Tupelo.
Oh my gosh!
Right with you up there,
Mississippi, but Wisconsin. So yeah,
Pennsylvania is in the same area of temperature. Actually, last night was like around -9, depending where you were.
We had 13
up
here.
towards my mountain place, it was -20. Now tonight in Pittsburgh is supposed to be around -15 or 16.
Ouch.
Yep.
And I'm running water just in case. I fired up the fireplaces. I'm trying to create a balance and just let everything stream. You know what? Just a little quick message to anybody out there. Don't take the chance. It's not worth it over worrying about how much water you're going to use. Imagine what the repair service will cost. Run the
Absolutely.
freaking water. Have a little bit going everywhere, and every once in a while, crank them. Keep movement in them.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, it's better to be
That's
safe than
wise
sorry.
thinking.
Honestly, I've been through that. I thought I got this. You know, I mean, my one property, I
Burst
had to put
pipes.
in a false bulkhead, and I put in vent covers to make it look like it was a furnace duct. But what it was is so the heat could rise into
Oh,
those
wow.
areas that were covering the pipes. So I made them look different. And once I started doing that and understanding, you know, there's a lot of theories of ways to do things. I always tried to prioritize myself around how to prevent before happenings, you know, preventive maintenance shit.
Yep.
That's good.
That's
That's
very
great.
good.
Hey, did you
It
see
is
that
very
story
good.
in here about well, I don't know. Where did it go? It was just there and it like jumped and disappeared. They were talking about Lucille Ball, and that's a true story, actually.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I
Lucille Ball.
saw that.
Lucille Ball hearing things over
Yeah,
her
through her
dentures.
dental work. Yeah, fillings.
Yeah, Alan McMillan said that. I heard that before, and I almost was going to ask you if you had heard about
Long
it. But
time ago. Yeah, I'm surprised that he even brought that up.
Pretty well widely known. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. She was picking up things from World War II. It said
It was
that
some
was
kind of
crazy.
like Morse
And what
code
her
that was like radio frequency
Yeah.
that was occurring, and she could feel it and actually hear, like, feel the impulses in her ears, you know, through that area right here. And that's how she described it. She was
sinus
being
cavity.
interviewed
Oh my-
on one of the daytime shows where she actually talked about that. And I know she tried to tell people about it, and they thought she was nuts. I don't know how or what happened or how it worked out after.
Yeah.
But you know, that's why I say I don't take anything off the table, but we got to really reach into the, you know, bucket and pull out proof, you know. But I think a lot of people do see things and experience things none of us ever else will. But who's to say? You know, I keep to the paperwork, and you know that's the best I can do because I'm not one of them. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here too, Dave. Everybody should go home. Dave, you should take
Yes,
the
good
car
night.
for a
Taco
ride
salad.
and keep it below 150.
I can't drive anymore. So
That's why you play video games. Okay.
Yeah, I won't.
I got mad. Well, I got mad at one of my video games the other day because the
He's a
screen came
gamer.
up and it was a
him and his grandson.
it was you
It's
have
awesome.
one fire engine had its lights and sirens going, and you have to move everything out around it so that you can get that one engine out. It made me think I was driving for the Los Angeles County
I knew that was coming. I just had this gut feeling he was going to be like, there's fire trucks involved. He's on his way to California.
LA comes.
Well, Dave,
Yeah.
you know, by
That's
the next,
awesome.
maybe in another year, there'll be a game that's California's on fire and you can get in your truck and drive.
Yeah. Who knows?
Awesome.
I don't have
You'll
the
see
room.
myself.
I want one, but I don't have the room for
So
it right now.
like I said, I'll be up in Manitowoc tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll be on or not.
Okay.
I should be back
All right.
in town and be able for Thursday, but yeah. So just to let you know.
Tomorrow
Fine.
morning, I had told people that we were going to be off because we weren't going to have internet between 9 and 11. We will have internet, so we may throw something together. Michael, if you're around, you're more than welcome to come and join us. And you're even welcome to link it on to wherever radio waves will carry it. If you
Sometimes
can.
I can, sometimes I can't. Depends if the time that time is matches up to a dead spot. You know, it's not always available.
Yeah. No, I know. Don't spend any money because I don't know yet still if we belong on syndicated radio right now.
Yeah,
But
I hear you. Sometimes I wonder if I should be there. All right, guys, have a good night.
but anyway, Michael, I'm glad.
Bye, good night.
Thank you, Jen.
Good night.
Thanks for the invite, Dave. We'll catch you later. All right. Bye-bye.
Jen.
Bye, Jen.
Jen, if you're okay.
Bye.
All right, bye. Jen, if you're up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, you're more than welcome to join us, but that's 8 o'clock, so that's probably school time. Juju's probably learning something. So, if you got a break and you want to teach her how to do a broadcast,
Oh, that's fun. Or otherwise, learn about gravity.
Yeah, learn about gravity. Yeah. All
You
right,
guys are great.
Always a
Okay,
pleasure. I'm
thank
very
you.
glad that you came. Thank you.
Me too. Sorry I'm late. Bye.
All right, bye.
It's so hard to turn this off by
Well, here,
exit.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
Oh, you go.
I'll do it for you.
No hands, you go.
Okay. All right. The homeschool month. Hey, this was a great broadcast. Good night, Alan. I'm glad that you came and watched. And let's see who else. Jane O'Malley was in the live chat. Alan McMillan was in the live chat. Jerry was in the live chat while he was on the broadcast. Larry Burns from Canada was watching the broadcast. And Larry Burns, I believe, is our resident expert. I'm going to call him our resident expert on my broadcast as to why we do not want to buy Canada, because I believe that there are a lot of people in Canada that do not want us to buy them. The running view on Greenland, I'm going to hold to this. So what the king of Greenland is sell a third of it to us, a third of us to China, and a third of it to Russia. And we all have to learn to defend ourselves against each other if that's what we want to do, because that's what everybody wants to buy it for. Anyway, and on that note, I've covered just about everything. If you're out where it's cold and it's going to be icy or it is snowing tonight, and you have to be out tomorrow, please be very, very careful. Take the extra time. Don't do 130 miles an hour. Take the extra time to start your car, give it a chance to warm up, and get in and be ready to go. Try to keep both hands on the wheel. If you're drinking coffee while you're driving, do it at a traffic stop or pull over to the side of the road. Just be very careful, very, very careful out there. That's all I can say. I hadn't made a final decision yet if we will be live at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, because I had told everybody in the known world that we would be off. So look around. If you see us, we are on. If we're not on, then we'll be on the American Rebellion tomorrow night. The American Rebellion is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 7 p.m. downstairs on the American Rebellion blogger page. You can see it over on Rumble, AmReb, something. I can never remember. Ask Jerry. And I'm not sure what's going on with the American Rebellion on Rumble. He said something about it the other night. So for all intents and sakes and purposes, go down to the American Rebellion blogger page. There are two. There's the American Rebellion group or the page. Go to the page at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and you can watch. So this is the part of the broadcast where I said you have been watching Boogie with the Bull Tuesday night Uncensored. That's right, I almost forgot what day of the week it is. A copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. Do what you want with it, but at least let me know if you're going to do it somewhere else. Let me know so I can be there, so I can laugh with you. Anyway, watched. If you like the broadcast, give it a thumbs up. In the comments, say why. If you didn't like the broadcast, give it a thumbs down. And in the comments, say why. We try to take everybody's advice into account to make it better. We are working on X. We're going to take it from the YouTube channel when we remember to send it over live. If not, we'll send it over as a podcast, or anybody else is welcome. If you're on X, follow at Boogie WT Bull. That's me over there. And you can take it and plug it in on X. A few people are trying to do it, and I'm looking at it also. Just have to see if we can line up the money. It's a money thing. And y'all know how I feel about having to monetize the broadcast. But anyway, be safe, be warm, and we will see you the next time. Slide up here. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is coming to an end.